What's up, everybody? It's the Common Sense Investor coming at you with another video. In this video, I want to talk about the judge's letter to the shareholders. Alright, I know, like I said in my last video, I'm a little bit behind in my videos. I know some YouTubers have covered it already, but I got some interesting things you should know, need to know, and wrap your head around concerning the letter from the judge that I haven't heard anybody talk about. So, while I'm taking a break from reading and doing the legal work, let's talk about the letter here that the Vice Chancellor has sent to every shareholder. Okay? Understand that, number one. Her attempt is to reach every shareholder with this letter. She's not only hoping to curb all the letters going to the court. Her intention is to notify every shareholder of their rights in this case before her court. Now, I've got her letter printed out, and there's a couple things I want you to know. All right, number one is if you first look at the letter, you'll see that things are bolded. You got June 29th and 30th bolded. You got May 4th, 2023 bolded. You've got objections that predate the notion will not be considered. All right, bolded. These are things she bolded. These are things that she's trying to bring your attention to, people. She's trying to tell you that this date, June 29th and 30th, is important. All right, May 4th is important. You should know what that date is. All right, if you've objected prior to the notice, it will not be considered. That's the judge talking to you. Now, a whole lot of letters have been sent in before this. And that's how we've got to this point. And that's to be congratulated, because I heard one YouTuber say, see, I told y'all y'all were sending in y'all's letters too soon. No, it was the letters going in too soon that brought her attention to the needs of so many shareholders. And now she's reached out to every one of us. 517 million shareholders, okay? Now, she said, your objections will not be considered, but I'm going to consider them for you, me. What we're going to do is go back and look at some of these objection letters, and I'm going to show you what the strengths were in them, what the weakness was in them, to help you write your objection letter, all right? So, the fact that they were filed early is irrelevant. We're still going to be able to use them, and if yours happens to come up, you can make your changes and just mail it to the correct address that you're going to be seeing in just a moment, okay? But we're going to look at objection letters that were sent in, and then you can get an idea of how you need to write yours. That's where we're going, all right? Objections must be submitted to the plaintiff's counsel, not the court. People are upset about that. I was too. All right, you do not send your letter of objection like I've got right here. I do not send this to the court, and people are still doing it. And she said, please don't do that. And you can do that from now until May 31st. Now, let's switch real quick over here to a letter of objection that a person sent in to the court before they were supposed to, or let's see, no, actually they made it on time, okay? I'm going to show you the strengths, how they wrote it, and what they should have left out so that you don't write the same thing, okay? So let's take a look at it. And this is just my advice, people. I'm not a lawyer. Dear Vice Chancellor Morgan T. Zern, I want to opt out of the settlement agreement involving AMC and the reverse split and Allegheny. Okay, I think that's a little early to be opting out because you've seen the settlement, but another proposed settlement may come up that you would agree with, and so you don't want to opt out too soon, hint, hint. But you could say, this is my objection letter. All right, very simple. Dear Vice Chancellor Morgan T. Zern, I want to file this objection letter with the court concerning AMC and the reverse split and Allegheny. All right, so all that's good. I want to file a letter of objection involving AMC and the reverse split in Allegheny. As a shareholder of 1,500, and see the little asterisk mark, he's got a copy of it down proving he's a shareholder. They've held it for multiple years. I don't feel it's fair. Stop. See how he just said that? Or they just said that? I don't feel it's fair. That's what the judge wants to know. See, he's objecting, or they are objecting to the settlement. And they just told the judge, I disagree with the settlement. I don't feel it is fair for my holdings to be diluted by 90%. All right? Let's just leave it at I don't feel it's fair, because they can argue the 90% dilution thing, and we'll talk about that in another video. All right? But right now you could just say I don't feel it's fair. All right? That my holdings should suffer due to Adam Aaron's. But they do a good job right here. It says, I also feel the vote for the reverse split was altered by large blocks of stock held by big institutions just until the vote was in, such as Antara, who sold their position within a day of the vote tally. That's a good argument. That's a good objection. I don't feel it's fair. Remember, that's the key thing. I don't feel it's fair, and then tell her why. I don't feel it's fair that they can do a reverse stock split simply because Antara was sold the shares, blah, 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 blah. And explain that to the judge. Right here. Adam Aaron has consistently worked against the best interests of the shareholders, period. Or you could say by diluting AMC stock, period. But you don't want to get into with shares of APE, which I feel are illegal. You don't want to get into the whether APE was illegal or not, because they're arguing that it was, and it is. All right. So you just want to say that Adam Aaron has, in your opinion, Adam Aaron has consistently worked against the best interests of the shareholders by diluting AMC stock, period. So good letter so far. Just a little bit too much. Large market makers, collusion with such as Citadel, stop. Not a part of this. None of that, none of Citadel needs to be brought into this. Simply Antara, because of the block vote situation that happened. That could be a reason why you are objecting. You don't want to bring speculation, and you don't want to bring conspiracy in your letter. Okay? The float is supposed to be only approximately 500 million shares, and Adam Aaron says there are no synthetics. I have to call bullshit on that one. Okay, you got to remember you're talking to the judge. So we can leave all that out. It's all speculation. This is not how you feel. This is about what you think is fair according to the settlement package. And so far, we've pointed out he's got a couple of good reasons to object, and he's got a couple of bad ones. These market makers such as Citadel, see Citadel again. He could have said Antara, churning out shares of AMC like popcorn. That's cute. I might use that. I will respectfully ask you, Vice Chancellor Zern, to order a share count total, telling her what he'd like, of AMC, and see just how accountable these entities are. That's a good paragraph. You can request that without going through all the conspiracy stuff you were talking about earlier. This corruption in Wall Street is reminiscent of the Bernie Madoff scandal 10 years ago, basically a Ponzi scheme, and makes people feel like Al Capone look alike. Oh, it makes Al Capone look like a saint. Please consider my objections. Thank you sincerely. That is a pretty good letter. He's had some strong objections in there. I wouldn't have put as many conspiratorial things. You want to stick to only the facts of the case. Tell them, I don't feel the settlement is fair because the lawyers are getting paid too much. All right? the shareholders aren't being compensated enough. 1 for every 7.5 shares for what they're accusing Adam Aaron of is not enough compensation for retail. You could tell her that. Things like this. Let's take a look at this next one. Now, it might look familiar because somebody went and copied my objections verbatim and sent them to the courts, okay? Now, that wasn't cool, not without talking to me first, so I could tell you this isn't the last draft of it, but it's okay. I also told y'all I did not want to reveal what one of my objections was until it was time, and this man printed out my whole objection list and sent it to the court. Now, everybody, including Allegheny and AMC, can see what my objections will be. But that's okay, because now all you have to do is look over this objection list and say, well, wait a minute. That's right. According to misleading facts in settlement in the settlement filing, and these facts are all wrong. All right, so you can't just take and create your own facts and then expect shareholders to agree to it. I mean, I went pretty in depth with this one here, but you could put this objection right here, that the statements in the settlement proposal are not facts or 100% facts, and they mislead the court into believing that there was a majority shareholder count, and there wasn't. See, that's a reason why. And it's telling you how it impacted you. So that's a pretty good one, too. And that's enough for now. You can go on over to the court docket. There's all of them. I wasn't going to tell you about the discovery yet, but he filed it anyway. Here's another one that you can file. Defendant's right to immunity. Adam Aaron should not have the right to immunity, and I explain why right here. And the man sent it to the court. So there it is. I explain it to you. All you have to do is read it and tell the judge you agree with this. I agree with Mr. Frank, well, however you say his last name. There it is. Just say, I agree with Frank. The misleading facts to the vote count is a major reason why you object to the settlement. The court has a right to know the truth of the share count. And then there's the right to immunity is pretty good. Y'all go read it. You're going to want to use it. The fees and expenses, I haven't got to that. That's what I'm working on now. So that's why I say it's a little bit early, but you can still go back and look at it. You can file an objection, and you can say, I agree with Frank. There's no way these attorneys have earned $20 million. They filed a premature lawsuit. They're willing to settle out of court for pennies, and they're going, oh, it's the biggest lawsuit, and we'll talk about all that later. But when I get to the attorney fees, which I'm at right now on the paperwork, but you can object to that. And here's an example of what you can say. All right, it's in the court docket. Just pause the video and look at it if you want to. And then he filed his thing, which is cool. No big deal. All right, this has been long enough. Love y'all. That's how you file your letter. That's what the judges said for you to do. Somebody's already sent one of mine in. Go look at it. Go look at some of the other objection letters, and you'll get an idea of how you can file yours. You're only filing an objection to the settlement. Remember that. And with that, I love y'all. Be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video.